So here we have new notation. We have this n with an exclamation mark, and this is read as n factorial. Now for the math definition, n factorial is equal to the product of n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 all the way to 2 times 1. Now here are the certain conditions. N must be a positive integer, and we're going to establish that whenever we get 0 factorial, that is going to equal to 1. Now, for you to understand why this is true, if you ever get that far, you'll see that the factorial is actually a function. It can be modeled using something called the Euler gamma function. So maybe one day you'll see it and you can discover why this is true. But anyways, we're gonna also talk about permutations. So for now, the number of permutations of n objects, we're gonna say that's gonna be n factorial. And you'll see how all of this will play out pretty soon. I know it's a lot of information, but bear with me. Everything is gonna begin to make sense. And let's actually do a couple of baby problems using this definition, just so you are comfortable on what n factorial equals. So for example, if I get a 7 here and I say I want to expand 7 factorial, this is going to be the same thing as 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So that's basically what this part is saying here. I know here it looks a little bit weird, but we can make this kind of look like this. For example, if n factorial is equal to 7 factorial in our example, then here we can see how n is this part right here, but then n minus 1 is the same thing as 7 minus 1. 7 minus 1 is 6. And then here, we can multiply it by n minus 2. But here, for our example, we have 7 minus 2, which is 5. And you see how we're always gonna, if we continue the pattern, we're gonna end up with a 2 times 1 here. So that's this is just very, very fancy way of saying that we expand the integer all the way down to 1. And one more example, let's say we want to expand 4 factorial. 4 factorial would just be, we'll begin at 4 and we'll expand all the way down to 1. So times 3 times 2 times 1. And just to point out, since that's going to be the title of our next lesson, permutation is basically what we've been doing. It's just the different combinations that are possible here. So let's do some examples with factorials. So example 3 says, how many ways can you arrange the batting order for 8 players on a baseball team? Now we can do this problem like we've done examples 1 and 2. This time I have 8 players, and it says in how many ways can you arrange the batting order. So we have 8 placeholders here, and my placeholders here are representing the batting order. So who's gonna bat first, second, third, fourth, etc., all the way up to 8th. So now I have 8 players, so we have 8 possibilities for someone batting first. And here, let me actually do this in yellow. And then once this person is chosen to bat, we have 7 people remaining that can bat second. And then we also, then now that we have a first batter and a second batter, we only have 6 choices for someone batting third. And we can continue to do this up until we exhaust all of our placeholders. And here we take a look that we get all the way up to 1. We have 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So we can input that in a calculator, and we're going to get 40,320. So we could get the total, or we can use our new fancy notation. So here, this is actually equal to 8 factorial, because we have the 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Okay, let's try another example. Now let's expand 8 factorial and then simplify this. Well, we actually already did 8 factorial, so let's just expand 6 factorial and then simplify. So for these problems, we're going to get 6 factorial, and that's going to equal, well, we're going to begin at 6, and then we're going to expand by multiplying all the way down until we get to 1. So 3 times 2 times 1. So that would be the expand part. And then for the simplifying part, we're just going to input this into a calculator and get the total. So we get a total of 720. So we get that 6 factorial is 720.